if you don't stand for something or you don't hold for something, you would fall for everything, which is what we see in this generation. There's a lot of herd mentality. Nobody is holding on to something personal. It's a collective herd mentality. And one day somebody came, she knocked and she said, oh, I want to do my makeup. I said, okay, this is how much you charge. She said, oh, I have only 500. And that was it. I knew that, oh, maybe I've gone wrong somewhere. I think gala that time was 100 naira.
Yeah.
Why don't you just buy me 5 gala and come and present it and tell me what's your makeup? If I want a change, you have to go for it. So over my course of my life, everything that's happened is like intentional work in some way. They're even reaching out to me and they've seen something that they like. They've gone through your page, they've seen that they like, they feel like, oh, I want this on my wedding. So why do you think it has to be any different from what is already on your page? I know where God is taking me and it's a very beautiful and glorious place. I had that thing I was holding on to. So if I didn't have that, then I might have felt like, let me not tell people if I will not go and fail, and they will not think that I'm a useless person. But I knew that even if I fail, I'm going to get to this place. So there's still that glory or that success. My name is Somebi Leo. I'm a professional makeup artist first. I'm a videographer, digital creator, and every other thing in between.
So I remember I was telling you that one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on this episode is because I really felt like you are a multifaceted being. And like that word literally describes you.
Yeah, I think
you are a digital creator, you're a makeup artist,
YouTuber.
You're a YouTuber. Oh my God, like that's not even like, and I don't know how you manage to wear all these hats at the same time. And you're also a Christian, which just ties up everything so beautifully.
Yeah.
So I just want you to take us to the very beginning. Like, how did Somebi Leo come about? Like, how was your background like? How was everything just leading up until this place?
I think I have had a very consistent core growing up. Now some people can be a certain way. When they get older, they change. I've had my fair share of like change, but I think at the core, people that are around me know that I've stayed the same. So I believe this is how God created me right from the beginning. I've always been a very joyful person, very out there, even when I was young, right? And, well, my parents did not necessarily understand. You know how children just want to just stay in one place. And I was always everywhere. I would say that I would always say hi to everybody. Once I entered, everybody knew me everywhere. They were like, where's that your daughter? Where's that your daughter? Compared to my other students that were very quiet, So that was one. So they tried to sort of curb it a bit, and that actually happened for a period of time in my life where I now began holding back a lot. I became very antisocial, very socially awkward, because I felt like I was always doing too much. So let me just tame my character. So I became the opposite of who I truly am. Let me say it so. In the house, I was one person I was always interested in cooking. That's another thing I really had a passion for. I say I was going to go on Chopped. I don't know if you guys watch the network. I always say I was going to go on Chopped. So I would always be in the kitchen. Then when it came to anything beauty related, I was there as well. So it was always just like, so maybe it's a child that is involved in things, that kind of thing, exactly. But I did not take it as anything. So going into uni, that was when I started focusing more on the whole beauty thing. Maybe we'll talk about that later. But I think it was just with time as I got older, I started realizing that I'm interested in a lot of things, and there are a lot of things I'm really, really good at. Also, when I was much younger, I just found that anything I could do anything with my hands. Like, I remember I was doing bead making at the time. I used to knit. I would make very beautiful bags. Like, anything that just involved my hands, I was really good at it, but I did not pay attention to it. So when I got into uni was when I realized that, okay, I'm actually just good at a number of things. So that was my first realization that I don't know you had a word or a name for it. I said that, I'm good at a lot of things. I said I'm good at anything in my hand. What I say? If you ask me, what is it? I said I'm good at anything in my hand. But I don't know there was an actual term for it. So that was just basically the whole beginning as far as I can remember for that.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Like, I was visualizing everything you were saying. And cooking. I need to give you that.
Cooking, even up to now, not as much though. I'm sure it's not as much because again, that's another thing that they also try to unconsciously. I don't blame anyone, but they low-key try to you're always trying something new. Just cook your okra. I wanted to cook the dish I'm seeing online and all of these things. So basically that.
Wow. So let's go back to your uni days, right? Like, I know that those days in uni, like, makeup artists were probably like the reigning thing. And I remember that you said in one of your videos that you did one beauty pageant. So
Oh, why? Why, Valerie? Why?
Like your beauty. You want to talk about like your beauty journey in uni. Like, how was it maybe like in uni, and how the uni shape your journey now?
Oh, that's very interesting. Oh. Okay, let me start from the beginning as far as I can remember. I entered uni at 16. Coming into uni, I had just picked up that interest for makeup as at that time. And I did so by watching hundreds of YouTube videos. My mother was so tired of me. I would finish her data consistently because I did not have a phone. Yeah, so I would always use her phone in the night. I'll watch YouTube videos, and she's way darker than me. I'll take her products and try it on myself.
I can imagine.
So I was practicing on myself, And yeah, so that was where that passion started from. Then shortly after, I went into uni, and so I just felt like, I've seen people online. I know that people charge for this. I'm going into uni. I feel like it would just be smart to maybe try and make some money from this thing. So I remember going to uni, I was like, I don't know what to charge because, again, I've only done it on myself so far. But I'll post it that time. People are like, oh my God, this is so nice. I was doing rubbish. But that was what was good then.
Yeah.
Like, this is so nice. I was like, okay, people like it, so let me just do it for other people. And I remember going to, I was saying I was going to charge 5,000 naira. That was going to be my fee. And I felt like that was very humble as at that time. So I got into uni. I moved in. I'm sorry. I moved into the hostel and I had roommates. So the first roommates I had, I came with my makeup kit, one very small kit I had, which by the way was gifted to me by my sister.
Wow.
So as at the time she just finished uni. As I was coming in, she was leaving. So she had a bunch of makeup. And she just gave it to me like, oh, you're always stealing it, so just take everything. Like, not in the bad way, like, you need it more than I do. So she gave me the entire kit. That was what I used as my starting makeup kit. It was only her complexion products, by the way. So anyways, I got into school. And I told my roommates, they saw it, they're like, do you do makeup? I was like, oh, yes, I do makeup. I want to start, like, doing makeup. I was like, okay, how much do you charge? I said 5,000. I said, I want to charge 5,000 naira. They're like, but I reduce it, nobody's going to come.
Wow.
You're not going to get any clients. And I asked them, because some of them were like in year 3. Yeah. So like, how much people charge on average in uni? They're like 1.5. I was like, I never mind. I don't know what. I was like, okay. And I had never bought a product with my money, so I didn't even know the cost value or anything that went into it. So I said, okay, no problem. I'll charge 1.5 since they said that's what people are charging. Yeah. So I started charging 1.5. And people will still struggle to pay that 1.5 as at that time.
1.5.
I'm telling you honestly, people would struggle. I had somebody come to my room one day. I think at this point, I got my first client. She was like a few rooms away from me. I went to the makeup. Terrible, terrible makeup. Poor girl. I'm so sorry if you're watching this. It was her birthday. It was so bad. It was so bad, but I didn't even know how we all, you just motivate each other. It's not that bad, it's not bad. No, like, let's get started the picture downstairs. But that was basically, after that one, people now started knowing on the floor that, okay, there's a makeup artist here. So I'll have some people come to like ask questions. And one day somebody came, she knocked and she said, oh, I want to do my makeup. I said, okay, this is how much you charge. She said, oh, I have only 500. And that was it. I knew that, maybe I've gone wrong somewhere. Because how do you, I think gala that time was 100 naira.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like 100 naira. I said, why don't you just buy me 5 gala and come and present it and tell me what's your makeup? Because like, what do you actually mean? I think that was like a turning point when I was like, okay, that means I'm definitely doing something wrong. Because what do you even think that they can bring 500 naira and get their makeup done? There was no vision. It was just nothing. I just knew that I had a skill and I could make quick money from it. Between year 2 and year 3, I had someone reach out to me. And she said she was working with somebody. And so she said that, there's this opening at a beauty studio, right? They're looking for a manager, person to basically like stay. And the current person had to go and write her like exam. Something happened. She had to go back to school. Yeah. So they need someone to like fill that position for the time being. And it sounded like a dream because this person was, first of all, a professional makeup artist. She was a celebrity makeup artist, a very, very big company. At that time, they had like 76,000 followers on their Instagram. So now I was like, oh my God, I'm going to work in this company. Like, I was just so excited that I would get to be in an environment that I could learn firsthand. When she would work, I would be watching us, but I'm learning the makeup directly from her because she's so good, right? And so I'll be learning. Sometimes I would try and ask certain questions. She would answer. I think later on they knew that I was into makeup. I told them that, oh, I'm actually like into makeup. I was the one who negotiated my salary with them.
Wow.
Mind you, as at that time I was 18.
Oh my God.
I just turned 9. I think I turned 19 in between that whole period, but I was 18, 19. So I was talking to them. I was trying to put on my big girl pants. I said, I know the value I'm bringing. Mind you, I was not just doing the managing aspect. I was handling their social media. I was creating content for them. I was following her to her personal appointment. I was doing a lot of things. And within that short period, that 2 weeks I was there was like a huge growth in their social media. So I think the first week or the first weeks I worked there, their views, maybe if it used to be like 1,000, 2,000. The first video I posted had like 8,000 views, and they were like, she was very impressed. Like, this girl is doing something right, you know. Prior to that, I'd asked around, like, oh, the managers here, what were they paid in terms of salary? And they said that nobody had been paid more than 70,000 naira as at that time for that role. And I said, can't be me. So I negotiated with them and I got paid 100,000. So I was the person to actually be paid the most amount, and I was the youngest person.
Yeah.
I was so proud of myself. I was like, okay, I was able to at least even break through what was the norm. Because that whole year, that whole period was so eye-opening. For one, it showed me what it means to have structure in a business, because obviously she has been doing this. I think as at that time, she was in the game for like 10 years already. So she had been doing it for years. They had their structures. I could model something. I had something I could see and model. I had never had a bride. I had never, even in terms of like what I would charge, that was such a big struggle for me. I remember I would have people reach out to me when I started like trying to take it a bit more seriously. Who asked me, oh, how much? I don't know what to charge. I do not know. I would always ask my mom, what should I charge? She would say, I don't know, charge them this amount. So I would not charge anything random. But working there, I saw what they were accounting for, what needed to be taken into consideration. That was the first time I had seen somebody charge 30,000 naira for a home service. It was so huge to me that time. I was like, there is no way people are paying this. And I was the one sending the messages to people. And so the moment I was saying, I would say, okay, tell me account. I would say, people used to answer like this for this amount of money. I mean, I'll be charging 8,000. People will be saying you're too expensive. Wow. So it completely shattered that barrier in my mind that I had put as a limitation. I did not start charging that immediately. It took a lot of I had to break through a lot of things and a lot of doubts and, am I even worthy to be charging this amount before I started charging? I just see it as service. I basically served that person. There were a lot of things I should not even have been doing in my role that I did for a very long time because I knew what I was trying to get out of it. It might sound a bit selfish, but something I like to say is that in the labor force, not labor force, like when you work in the workforce, everybody's using everybody. The employers are using you because they want to see a growth in their company. You too, you're using them for something. It's either because you need the money from them or you want to get something from them. So I always advise people, put your head down and get what you want to get from wherever you are within that time period. Don't set your boundaries as well, right? Your employers are not allowing you to use them anyhow. They're allowing you to use them only to a limit, which is salary or maybe emotional support, if maybe HR or something. But they're not allowing you to throw a party in their house or just they set boundaries as well. Yeah, it just opened my eyes to a lot about the business aspect of makeup. Because prior to then was just a passion. So after that, I was able to now pick up. I'm like, okay, this is what it means to actually run a business. Not just about having the skills, because she has the skills, but she's doing way better. I feel like God threw me into the deep end to intentionally break that barrier or that limitation in my mind. So all of those things really just opened my mind to that, okay, there's actually money, first of all, out there. It's just that, are you speaking to the right person and are they willing to pay you for what you're offering? So I saw that you have to have a contract. There has to be due process. The the clients are responsible for even covering certain things like your logistics, for example. If they are taking you out, they have to pay for. So all those things, like, it just put a lot of things in perspective for me. And that was it. So that was like a really defining point in my makeup journey, basically, in uni. So yeah, that was it.
Wow, like, wow.
It's actually a lot. It's a lot, actually.
Thank you for saying that. Like, I feel like you spoke to me also. Like,
Wow.
Like, I'm like, wow. Like, I was so locked in.
I'm really glad.
Wow. I think what I want to know is, from what you're saying, a lot of people are afraid of being seen trying, right? There's such a thing as the fear of being seen trying.
Yeah.
And you were at a stage in your life where you were starting off small, right? Like, you knew you had a gift, you knew you were talented, but you were willing to start off small. You were willing to, you saw people charging 5,000, you were charging 1,500, and you were still doing it. I mean, someone approached you with 500, you could have said, get out of my side, like, but you still did it. You took on an internship, took on the job, you actually did the job. So I just want you to speak on the fear of being seen trying. And you know how the Bible says, do not despise small beginnings. And if you never went through all of those processes, you would have never learned the things you know now.
Yeah.
So can you just speak to, the concept of the fear of being seen trying?
I feel like the first thing is I've always had a vision. God gave me a word I've held on to at a very young age. I think I was 16. I was in SS3, so I was 16. And that word was like a blueprint for where he's taking me. And all the years now, I've seen that like play out. And so I've always known that there was something ahead for me. So it was never a thing of me like fighting inner battles or like, oh, am I good enough? Would I even amount to anything? I already had that thing. I was able to hold on to that. This is what God has said about me. I'm not in competition with anybody. I know where it's going to lead me to if I walk with him. So that was a very, very, I feel like that was a very strong thing for me. So that was one. I think two, I cannot lie, I feel like the kind of person you are also largely affects that, because whilst other people might have wanted to, I had people my age that were so, I don't want to say obsessed, but very obsessed with appearing a certain way when we were very young. I wanted to show people like how my journey was. That was the core idea behind even my YouTube channel. I knew that God had shown me a place I was going to go. So I said that this is beautiful. Let me bring people on this journey. Let them be watching that growth. And maybe we all learn at the same time. That's what I was thinking when I started my YouTube channel. And so I've never been someone that's been trying to like hide my process or my growth. I've always just felt like I know where God is taking me, and it's a very beautiful and glorious place. So everybody that can be on that journey, it will be good if you join me now and you go there. Do you understand? That has been my vision. So I think the only time I would think somebody might have that fear of like, oh, I'm too small, or I don't want to say I'm too small, is if that identity there's a conflict of identity. You're not even sure or strong enough in something. It has to be something, anything. You have to have something you're holding on to. If not, you just feel worthless. You feel like if I even try, I might fail. I knew I was not going to fail because I had that thing I was holding on to. So if I didn't have that thing, I might have felt like, let me not tell people if I will not go and fail, and they will not think that I'm a useless person. But I knew that even if I fail, I'm going to get to this place. So there's still that glory or that success. So I can hold on to that. So there was never, that's why I feel like I was never like scared to say, for example, now, even up to now, I don't have a makeup studio, right? A lot of makeup artists I know, and probably even started out after me. Some of them have studios, but I'm so content. I even feel like I have a different journey compared to everybody. And the reason why I can be that way and hold on and say these things, because again, I have something I'm holding on to. Me, I know where I'm going. I don't think I have the same path with everybody, even though I might be in that industry. I know where I'm going. And you cannot just live life. You would, the enemy self will set the trap for you to constantly doubt yourself, constantly keep yourself small. So I think, if I'm being so honest, that is the one thing that kept me from that fear of being seen. I said, there is something glorious. People need to see it. So yeah, that was just basically it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so you spoke about having a vision, right? Let's dial back. How did you find God? Like, because to have that vision, you have to have found God, right? So how did you find God, basically?
Okay, so This is so interesting. You know why this is so interesting? Since I was in SS1, I always used to say something at home. Everybody that's watching, all my students know. I always say, I'll tell my story. I'll tell my story. I don't know why I said. I also felt like I knew I was going to share or tell my story. So you just saying that just made me laugh. But anyways, how did I find God? So basically, we grew up very Catholic, Christian. My parents loved God based on what they knew loving God was like. They did a good job. Again, to the extent they knew how to. We went to church every Sunday. You literally could not miss church. Are you joking? We went to church every Sunday. It was very calm. Let me just put it that way. I have always been that person that was morally good. So even before I knew Christ or I came to Christ, when I would have my classmates doing all sorts of things, I just could not. I would try, but something in me just could not. When I got to JSS3, a random day, I was at home. At this point, we had moved places. My sister came home. Yeah, I have a senior sister. She came home. Now, I had known her before she had gotten saved. I think even before she left, we had fought. And that's another thing, we were always at head with each other because, again, I was very vocal. I know to take up. If you talk one, I'll talk five. You understand? I was annoying. I can't even lie. So we had like a fight or something, and she went to school. She was in uni, and I think she came back. Me, I was still carrying my shoulder, like, I'm not going to talk to you. You upset me. And she was like full of so much love. And it was so different from the person I knew, right? I'm not saying that, oh, she was a witch or anything, or she was vile, but we grew up very agitated in our family, like, oh, everything just... So I think people can even tell by the way we speak. Like, I'm just talking, I'm so passionate. Like, that's just how we grew up. So anyways, she came back and she was just full of so much love. I remember her even like apologizing to me. I said, she apologized to me. That was so different. And she just was such a different person. And I was like, what happened to you? And then she just started telling me, prior to that, we were always close, even though we used to fight, sibling relationship. We were so close. I knew everything that was happening in her life, and in secondary school, all of that, uni. And so she just began telling me, how she basically, in summary, gave her life to Christ, her journey, all of that. I was just like, girl, are you okay? Because we grew up very Catholic. We used to laugh at Pentecostals. We used to mock, like, speaking in tongues. All those things sounded like ridiculous. We said that the miracles were fake. All those things were fake, And so, yeah, now hearing her, I was like, I hope they've not gotten to you. But it was not just hearing her. It was like, the life changed. Like, she was a different, I don't speak, she was such a different person. I knew that this thing could not just be, it's not just about what they are saying or what she's saying. Like, I'm seeing her character, a 360-degree change. There has to be something here. And she's a very amazing storyteller. So whenever she's even telling you the things or the story or things that happened to her personally, I will be so intrigued. And we'll just lay on the bed in the room. She'll be telling me how this happened, how that happened, how, God is this, God is that. And that was the beginning for everybody in my family, actually. But for me, that was the beginning. So it piqued my interest. And I was like, And I think one day, I don't know how long this was, maybe a few months after she had started all of that, I just said, I want this. I want to know this God like by myself. I want this thing that she's always talking about. Around that time when I made that decision, my spiritual senses were heightened. So I remember sometimes I would be in the house and I would just see like, I don't know if I sound weird to certain people, like lights at certain parts of the house. And I would just know that that's an angel. One time I was in the room, there was no lights in the whole house. They are taking the lights. And in my room, you know how from underneath the door you can see some, I saw like lights pass from underneath the door. And there was a lot of things like that during that period. I remember I was washing plates one day, when I said, hey God, let the stream please stop. Like, I want to do some of that. It stopped immediately. I was like, wow, God is actually like I know God now. Like, if he's listening to me, it was such a big thing for me. And that was just the beginning, honestly. I never had that ridiculous past, and I'm so grateful actually. I never did anything ridiculous. There was no dramatic thing that brought me to God. That was the beginning. A very defining turning point when I started speaking in tongues. Again, my sister, at this point, she had built like a community, and they used to have like events, programs, meetings where like just bring people to worship and all of that. And we had a meeting like that, and the Holy Spirit just took over. Prior to that, we were fasting, and I was praying for the gift of tongues. Now, mind you, before that, she had been praying for me to receive the gift of tongues, but I did not even believe that I should pray for me. She hold my hand, I was saying, I don't even give my life to her at this point. I was like, all this one, I beg, leave me. She hold my hand, she would pray. I was saying, I started speaking. That kind of thing. So, but at this time, I now desired it. So I had prayed for 3 days, fasted, and I just told God, this is what I want to from this. This is all I want. And then it happened, and there was such a fire in my spirit. That was basically it. So that led me all through GS3, SS1, SS2, SS3. I just lived my life the best way I knew how to, in honor to God, doing the same thing with my junior siblings. So yeah, that's basically like the whole background story for like my own walk with God. But there are other things along the way, but background, that's basically it.
That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm enjoying this conversation.
I'm actually enjoying like actually seeing all of this. I've not even thought of them for a while now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You mentioned a key thing, desire, right? Because your sister came back. She, was telling you all these things, and I want to talk on two things, right? Like mentioned in one. She basically sowed a seed, right,
she did.
into your life, and you know how many times like you basically said it, like you did not, when she was praying for you to speak.
Yeah, I was not interested.
Yeah, you did not, but then it was a seed. So
along the line,
and then when the desire came, the seed plus the desire, and then the vision that you now have for your life.
Yeah.
So can you just speak on that,
the vision,
like on that process, like from the seed to the desire to now the vision that now God has given you?
It started with her life, like transformation of her life. Me witnessing that firsthand, seeing that this person was a way and now they're another way. The desire came from continually being in that environment. I feel like if perhaps she had told me that thing one time, I was taking, maybe I went to live with another relative or something, that could have been aborted, that whole process. But we were in the same environment. She would always come home like quite often. So I was hearing that thing over and over and over again. So that consistency, I feel like, was probably the watered for that seed. It began watering it and it just blossomed. And so in terms of the vision that God gave me and I'm running with to today, it was actually a word. Again, she was one that gave me that word. And then words were so weird to me. I'm like, why are you in my head? She would say things that I'm literally thinking about, like in the moment. I remember the first time she gave me a word, I was thinking, I was saying, God, this is weird. You said that, and I know you're thinking that this is, I was like, okay, this is a lot. But it was a word she spoke over me, and it was just basically her confirming and just saying that this is what the Lord has planned for you. And my spirit bore witness. I did not know what that meant at that time, but my spirit knew that this is true. So I wrote it down. I still have the journal. I wrote it down, everything. And over the years, like as we would pray, as we would do things together as a family, it would come again, like confirmation. My younger sister also started prophesying pretty early. She was like, 10? So it just came a lot, and my spirit bore witness to. So it was not even God that whispered my ear, this is what I have for you. It was confirmations upon confirmations, and my spirit being witness to that.
So in this beauty space, right, how would you say your relationship with God has, would I say change your perception of how you view beauty or how you view beauty now?
Okay, so I think the first thing God even let me know, it's not like a personal thing God told me, is I just knew that I was going to be different in the beauty industry. I don't know what different meant. Mind you, I grew up learning from YouTube. Have you seen YouTube tutorials from 2016?
Wow.
Heavy.
Yeah.
So everything was like pretty heavy. And I remember that was my style when I started, or I tried it a couple times, unfortunately, on my sisters, who were my victims. So I would do that, and it just felt like, this is not me. I don't know how to explain it. And so as I started reading scripture and just, even just growing in my personal walk with God, I just felt like there was, or there is a light to God. I'm trying my best to put this into words the right way and explain it the right way it came, or it is in my spirit. But like there is a version of God that is light and beautiful, and God just brings out the best in you. He does not like, okay, everybody has a core, how I see it. Everybody has something that God deposited in them that makes them fundamentally them. And when you start working with God, what does God do? God brings that out and he just makes that blossom 100%. So God is not going to, there's a transformation, obviously, when I say 360, all of that. But when the 360 is more so like, you did not even know that thing was inside you, God brings it out. I feel like that was what I just felt like God was trying to reflect, even through, it might sound dramatic, but through my makeup, it was almost like God wanted to just bring out that beauty that was on the inside of people, And so I just found that I was trying to do less. I don't know what I'm doing now looks like, because it was I don't think I knew anybody doing that type of makeup. If God were to walk on my face, what is he going to do? I don't think God is going to give me a long nose or increase my, God will just enhance what's already there. Our motto, the one I came up with, is redefining beauty. So I felt like God wanted to change the narrative. That was when I grew a bit. I just felt like there was a narrative in the industry, and I feel like God wanted to like change that, like what beauty is seen as, how it is conceived. It was not even as bad as it is now. Like right now, it's very perverted. That industry is very perverted. But I just think that God was going to like rewrite a story through my life or through my brand.
You did your beauty masterclass this year. And while watching your YouTube video, I also saw that you made a vlog where you were talking about how you used to turn down bridal appointments, and you did your first one this year. And you basically took us through the journey of how that was for you. Can you just take us through that? And then now hosting your first ever beauty masterclass, like how did that happen?
How did I go from turning down
bridal appointments to doing bridal appointments, and now
even do something bigger.
Your first beauty masterclass.
Okay, I've actually had opportunities, even aside bridal work, come my way that I have turned down, because again, I told you I used to be very small in my thinking, and I used to really downplay myself. I had a fellow makeup artist. She's doing well in her own space, the people she's appealing to. She reached out to me personally that she has a shoot she was paid for, but like there are a lot of models, she cannot take on everybody, that can I come and be on board? And I was going to be a set for one very big video director in Nigeria. When she told me, I didn't even know who he was. I told you, I don't ever know these people. And I saw producers, I knew it was this person she was talking about. Like, oh, he's actually like a big person. And then I became scared. I said, I'm not going to do this because like I'm going to mess up. I did not have a chair at that time. I was like, I didn't have a chair. What am I going to do? And I thought I should sit down on a stool or what, that I'm not going to do it. So I turned down the job. I told her that I can't do it. And she said, like, oh, why? I told her, oh, I'm busy. I have something that I don't have anything to do. I just don't want to. I was scared. And I just let my fear get the best of me. I was just scared. I felt like I was not good enough to cater to somebody for like a day as big as their wedding. Like, what if the makeup is not that nice on that day? Why is it that day it's not be nice? I think it was just years of reassuring myself. And I just got to a point where I was like, when would I actually be good enough? Literally what I said that time, like, when would I be good enough? Because I know where I'm coming from. I know where, as at that time, where I was, and I have progressed, but I still don't think I'm enough. So like, even if I progress more, I would still think I'm not enough because I would know more. And the problem is that I've always just known more or been exposed to more. And so the thing is, when you know more, your standards are higher. So you are putting yourself on a ridiculous pedestal, feeling like, oh, it should be this standard, it should be that standard. I was good at where I was, but I just felt like it was not yet giving that my boss's own. So I was not qualified to take on any job until it's giving that her own. Just what I'm trying to say. Exactly. That was the problem. And so I kept shrinking and shrinking and shrinking until, I don't even know, was it last year? Yeah, I think beginning of last year, I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to go for this thing myself. I'm not even going to wait now. I want to take it on. I already had the rate card. I had everything set up, like I told you. And then coming to hosting the masterclass, honestly, after this class, I was even thinking that not even too far. I was saying if January to maybe could see maybe now, she would say who are you? Because even January this year, I felt like I was too small to do what I just did. So coming from there to this point, I don't feel like it has been a journey or of intentional decisions. One thing I like about my own life, I'm not the most perfect person or anything, but I try to do everything with intentionality. Like if I want a change, I will not just, well, I have that tendency actually to just hope that it will happen, but I'm learning that you have to go for it. So over my course of my life, everything that's happened is like intentional work in some way. I've put in that work intentionally to say that, oh, okay, this, I not just wake up one morning, I was like, okay, I'm going to make up today, and I did that bright. I didn't know. It was started from January, me saying that, okay, I'm good enough, maybe you can actually do it. It's not about the products, you have that skill. They're even reaching out to me and they've seen something that they like. It's not like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
They've gone through your page, they've seen that they like, they feel like, oh, I want this on my wedding. So why do you think it has to be any different from what is already on your page? Do you understand? So just all of that reassurance and everything basically just what got me to this point I feel like I am right now.
Wow. And what you're just touching on is just the concept of the fact that creativity is divine, right?
100%.
You said something that is so intentional that the fact that people are reaching out to you shows that there is something in you. Like, people are not dumb, right? No one will
Exactly
just come to meet
a
you.
random person.
And it just goes to say, like, a Bible verse that really strikes out to me is the parable of the talents, right? I really love that story. Why do I love it? In relation to what you just said, right? God will not give you talent if he doesn't think you can do something with it, right?
True.
So the guy that had 1 talent, the guy that had 5, God gave him, he multiplied. The one with 2, God gave him multiplied. The one with 1 felt like, what can I do with this one thing? But if that person, like you said, maybe in January could look at herself, if that guy with the 1 talent could see himself, he like, and what God intended that one talent would do. Like the one could have come about 1 million. He didn't know what one would do.
Exactly.
But it just goes to say that creativity is divine. And we're even saying right now, like, the makeup in itself is a divine thing. It was that Bible verse in Exodus 35 that says that, you know, God gave Bezalel and Oholiab the ability to not just be craftsmen, but also teach people that craft. And you're a makeup artist and you've been able to, you know, not just have the craft, but you've done this beauty masterclass and you've taught other people. So can you just
it's so no, it's honestly so amazing. So like you said, we're actually just like having that conversation. Like I think it's honestly so amazing. I never even saw it in that way. Just like you said, one thing God has always told me is that I'm going to teach people. I don't know how. I still don't even know how. You will never have the full picture with God. You know, he'll give just enough for you to move, but not the full thing. So I think it's so beautiful. I love what you said, that how beautiful is it that God places something on the inside of you. Those hands, you're able to teach another person. They can. I'm so sorry. I just got a revelation. Like that is literally God giving you his characteristics. That is what God did with creation.
Oh my God.
That's literally what he did with creation. God created things. God.
Wow.
God is so kind. So he's literally telling you, I have given you, you can do literally everything I've done, you can do it. God created the world. He formed everything. And through everything we do, we're just basically just recreation, basically. And so God has given us the ability to even create and then teach others how to. I just feel like it's such a beautiful thing. I never even thought about it that way. My heart is saying thank you. When I'm talking to you, like I'm just like, God, thank you. Like that is such a blessing to be able to teach somebody. They can recreate it exactly what it is. That is what we do in our life as Christians, basically. We're able to recreate what we saw God do. God healed, we're healing. God went about speaking, we're speaking. God healed, like it's just so amazing. So yeah, I think that is really good.
Wow. And why do you think people separate makeup and Christ?
I have no idea. Like I was telling you, I really, really, really do not know. God is a God of beauty, royalty, majesty. Do you hear how the Bible describes him? His sandals, his clothes. He's not dressed anyhow, right? I don't know why people separate beauty from Christ. Some people to this day feel like the concept of beauty is very vain, is very demonic, is very... Now, I feel like that is an ideology that is not communicated the right way. It is perverse. Beauty is not bad. Like, nothing God created is bad. We are in a fallen world. The things that God created and he meant for good have been perverse. So God made beauty. Are you not looking at yourself? Are you not looking at me?
Yeah.
God sat down. He said, this person needs lashes. He could have made without lashes and we would look like eggs.
Yeah.
He said this person needs lashes to be beautiful. This person needs this and this to look a certain way. But the enemy came. He perversed everything that God had created. And it would be wrong to say that those things God created are wrong. They are not wrong. So there's a lot of reconstructing that has to be done to now get it back to what was God's original plan. Even in that, we're falling in the wickedness, the vanity of people obsessed with themselves. God is still able to bring out beautiful things from it. And I feel like that's how I choose to see beauty. That's why I intentionally pay attention to, even down to how I look. It's not based because I'm trying to like flatter my inner self. It's most like I just want to look like who I am. I'm daughter of a king. I'm not going to dress anyhow. I'm not going to carry myself anyhow. If you see me in public, I don't just act anyhow. I know who I am. Do you understand? And so that is the idea. That is the mentality that I've moved with in my own industry. Basically, I don't separate beauty from God. I have some requests that I will see. My spirit would not accept that. And I will not just reply. I'll leave it in the request. Sorry. Do you understand? God is not a separate concept, or how I like to see it. Anything that concerns me, God is involved. Everything about you, God is involved in it. So your hands are going to use to design it. He's one that gave it to you, so he's involved in it. And it's up to you to now mirror the world or mirror God with it. That's how I see it anyway. So yeah, that's just my idea on that.
Wow. And what I just want to tie this with is your beauty brand, Beauty by Somii. I love that it's really what the logo is, what the slogan is, redefining beauty, right? I love that you just said that God's actual design was that we mirror him. I love that your makeup, what you do, it looks exactly like the people, right? It's like, I don't like, it's obviously God-given because I love makeup that makes me look like myself. I don't want to... I'm going to makeup artists, no offense. Shout out to makeup artists.
Honestly, actually, shout out to makeup artists because it's actually such a
I know
craft.
it's easy.
Yeah.
But when I go to a makeup artist and I look like a completely different thing, it's honestly not funny. But what I love about Beauty by Somii is how you're able to make the people look like themselves, and it's obviously, like we just said, it's spiritual and it's scriptural. So why was that so important for you to ensure that your clients look like themselves?
You're going to change this narrative of this is what it has to look like. Like, it does not have to look like what is the I started thinking, like, what are the attributes of God? I started just thinking, like, what reflects God? And I don't know, there's not one quantifiable thing to say that, oh, for example, now his peace, I'm drawing his peace on your face. Do you understand? But it's like there is a lightness and there is a transformation that comes from God that does not change. It just reveals, like it brings out what's already there. You know, and if you walk close enough with God, you will know that if you're somebody that was very angry, it means that you are somebody that's actually a very loving person, but you've been hurt. So when you start working with God, what God will do is that he'll just start correcting that and you become that very loving person. Do you understand? So what God does is it always brings out the you on the inside. Like he brings out that core, that person. And so I was like, this is what I know. This is who I know God to be. God is somebody that enhances. And so I said that this is what I want to make. I want to be able to just bring out people like who they really are. I don't want to ever have somebody sit on my chair and when they are leaving, I'm like, okay, bye Sharon, but it came in as Anita. I don't want that. So please, if you're coming as Anita, you're going to leave as Anita, but a better version of Anita. That has just been the idea behind it. Obviously, over the years, it has blossomed into what I'm communicating. I can put it into words. So at that time, I could not really put it into. I don't think that I was going to do it differently in some sense. Like I'm not going to do what I saw from the YouTube videos. YouTube videos gave me a template, but I felt like I had to change certain things. So that's just basically like that.
So to just end all of this, right? I think we're just getting to the fact that God is a really excellent God.
Very
God
excellent.
is excellent. A lot of people, especially Christians, most of the time believe that you just have to pray. You know, it's like it's basically like the way it was in school, right? People would say things like, "I don't need to read. I just kabash. God will give me the answers to the exam." But no, God is excellent. You need to put
you
in
need
the
to
work.
put it
You
exactly.
need to be diligent. You need to sometimes deprive yourself of sleep just to make sure you learn this thing. And just looking at your story from when you were 17 to when you went for those beauty pageants to
the beauty pageant. I never talk about that.
you know,
God.
all of like all of those things to you accepting the role to work with the lady you worked with to the bridal appointment you took. It was just you constantly stepping outside your comfort zone and giving yourself to diligence and excellence. So can you just speak a word to anyone who is out there who doesn't young like we are, who just feels like, what am I doing with my life? Who doesn't understand that even though, yes, they have God, they need to be excellent. They need to put in the work and then submit and yield that to Him.
Okay, for anyone who might be listening, I actually have a heart. I have a heart for young people, genuinely, because I am young also, and the narrative that you cannot do much when you are young has always been something that has never ever stuck with me. I've always been of the contrary opinion that it's even better if you start early, if you do things while you're young. And if you do things while you're young with God, it's so much easier. Like, I cannot emphasize how much easier. I don't want to be that person that is just like in their own delusional bubble. Trust me, I've had my very, very terrible struggles, terrible, difficult background as well, but with God, it's just easier, right? And so I would just say to anybody who is watching and like, I understand this, but for me, it just feels so hard, so difficult. You cannot do better than the person that knows you and made you. That's all I would say, right? Sounds very simple, but if you think on it, it will actually set you free. Like, we were all created for a purpose. I would never have known. Do you know how many times I tried to be the people ahead of me? I have 3 elder ones. How many times I tried to like model each of them in different lights. I tried to be a bit of this person, a bit of that person, a bit of that person, until God had to show me like my path is even so different from all of them. Like so different. I remember there was a time, I told you my sister got saved first. So she was all her ministry is so different from mine. That's another thing. I started seeing my life as a ministry. Ministry not just being when you are being called to talk about just on the pulpit and saying praise the Master Jesus. No, like ministry actually in your life, like whatever you are doing in your life. Prior to that time, I had always tried to be like my elder sister at the time, like what I was seeing her do. So I remember I'll be forcing this Jesus thing. I was on Instagram, I'll try and type. I'm not even a writer. I'll try and write long captions to show that, oh, God also, I love God. And I would type it. And God used her greatly because she would tell me, maybe, please don't try to be me. God has made you your own person. Be your own person. I don't know who my person was at that time. I don't know what that meant. I would just be like, okay, yes, I'm trying. Leave me alone. Like, just leave me alone. I'm trying. I loved God, but it was forced. What I was doing was forced, right? And it took me going to sit with God and God telling me that, okay, yes, you love me, but your sister's ministry is not your ministry. Your brother's ministry is not your ministry. I'm calling you to something different. And I would never have known that my life would have been a life of trial and error. And to have taken me way longer. What I'm doing now, I might have still have done it because that might be God's plan for me, but maybe when I'm in my 30s or in my 40s, I feel like it's like intentionality God has brought me here so far and sitting with Him to know what He's saying. So I would just say to anybody that is watching this that you need to go back to the person that created you, not your parents, by the way. You need to sit with the person that created you. He's the one that knows even how far He wants you to go. He's the one that knows what He wants you to do on this earth. And I do believe everybody has a role to play on this earth. And all our lives are intertwined. Me meeting you today, I never say anything as coincidence. So just go back to the drawing board, sit with God. If, for example, Valerie, you created a fan, and that fan today says, I don't think I want to blow going the right, I want to start blowing going the left, and it starts tangling, you will tell it, I never even made it to go that way. You were meant to blow in this direction, and you're the only one that can tell it that because you know what you designed it to do. So anybody, like, your life is going to be really difficult if you try and live it without God. All I'm going to say, the bottom of this is go to God, find your identity in God, and sit long enough to get a vision or something you can hold on to. Because if you don't stand for something, or you don't hold for something, you would fall for everything. You would go with everything, which is what we see in this generation. There's a lot of herd mentality. One person does something, everybody wants to do it at the same time. Nobody is holding on to something personal. It's a collective herd mentality. Like, let's all do this together. That means we're right. If we're all together, we're right. It's like, you can be all together and you're wrong. So it's like, find something you can hold on to. If not, whatever arises, you will follow it. When they say that it is this one, you run there. They say that it is this one now, you run there. Okay, it's hair that is trending. Now let me turn to a hair influencer. You start combing hair. They say that it's makeup. Let me do makeup. They say that, oh, we're building estates. Let me buy estates. You don't even know what God has called you to. What is actually your assignment? And I think I would just end by also saying that should be your definition of what success is, right? So success is not even measured by, I don't even know what people measure success.
Metrics, numbers.
It's not metrics, it's not numbers, it's not like how many masterclasses did I have today? Okay, I did 5 this year. Woo, I'm successful. I made 50 million, I'm successful. No. It's like your measure of success is based on you doing what you were made to do. Obedience. So if God tells me, let's say now in heaven, in my own blueprint, it was September, so maybe it was meant to host a masterclass. I did not host the masterclass, but I ended up making 50 million naira from maybe doing 50 home services. I was not successful. In heaven, they don't say maybe successful. So maybe did what she wanted. You are not successful. So success at the end of the day, or you working with God, or you being where God will have you be, is measured again by that person that created you and sets those things for you. He's the one that knows what he wants for you. So, guys, in summary, just go back to God, sit with him, and let him just like lead you and direct you. That's all I'll say, really. Yeah.
I think this conversation has evolved my own mind, and it's like a total transformation. And like you said, I don't think this was a coincidence.
I don't think it was a coincidence.
And I'm honestly so grateful that you honored this invitation.
Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed having this conversation.
I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, actually. Like, it was so natural. I really love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming.
No problem.
So you guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. I'm going to put also Somebi's accounts in the description. So go follow her, go show her love. And if she does her next beauty masterclass, you better be there so you don't drop bros like mine. You better be there. Yes, because she knows better. So please ensure so that you can look like yourself. Shout out to Beauty by Somii.
Thank you so much.
See you guys in the next one. Bye.